Welcome back, everybody. My name is Ken. Today's episode and this is Brian. Today's episode of Clicks and Bricks is a special edition. Nick told me what was going on right before we got started.
Yeah.
So we're not talking much about any specific topic. We're talking more about Ken and Brian. This is our 20. What episode are we on?
24th
episode. 24th episode.
A quarter way through.
And we haven't really talked about ourselves much. We just been talking about different tech and different solutions. So Nick said he wanted a good episode about us personally.
He wanted us to undress on camera.
Yes. Well, we're not going to do that, but we're definitely going to get a little personal today. But before we get started, today's episode is brought to you by Enlink.com. Rapport made easy. It's a really cool platform where you can go on, get your user account, and then it's basically one centralized system for all of your social media profiles. It's really cool. Check it out. It's absolutely free. There is some paid for versions, and I think next week we're going to have some new technology dumping out of that system. So
can't wait.
Really cool stuff. Check it out. So Brian, let's get started.
I just want to get started.
I'm kind of lost. I kind of lost it.
No, it's all good, man. Don't forget to check out Ken's Enlink, right?
Oh, my Enlink.com/Ken.
Yes,
and that'll hook you up with all my social media profiles, my TikTok, my Instagram, all my goofy stuff. I've been kind of laxed on social media.
You've been busy. You've been living life.
Well, I had surgery, and then I've been recovered from that, and then
business moving.
I'm starting a new company, and I've so surgery, new, and then I've been just like diving into this NFT shit. And I just don't quite. Something's not clicking in my head yet, so we'll go from there.
We'll go from there. Then my Enlink is enlink.com/Brian Montgomery Jr. Okay, check out all my social media. Go ahead and like, follow, subscribe. Let's have some fun with it, right? Let's have some fun. So today we're going to really, like we said, we're going to just dive into, this is a business story episode. We're going to dive into my background a little bit, Ken's background a little bit, and we're going to get personal, tell you guys some stories that what we've kind of gone through when it comes to business and mindset, and who knows where, I haven't looked at the questions yet, who knows where it's going to go, but I guarantee it's going to be fun because Nick's been holding it down.
So these are not questions from the audience today, which normally we do questions from the audience.
Yeah, it's a little different.
But today we're going to do questions from Nick. Nick had questions for us.
Yes.
And we're going to dive right in.
We should name this next episode.
So I talked to him a little bit before. I'm like, hey, what's the most important thing? He's like, really the first 3 questions for both of us are the important ones. We have 5 total questions.
Okay.
We can't get through them all today. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll do another one at episode 49.
Oh.
Yeah.
49 and a half. We'll do a mini episode.
Yes. So, awesome.
But before we get started, we always talk about between the cubicles. And since we're talking about our business, our story here, this started because me and Ken talk a lot between the cubicles.
Yeah. Well, until recently, I got kicked out of the cubes.
I didn't get kicked out. What are you talking about?
But, we'll move forward.
We'll move forward. All right, so today we're talking about Brian's trip to Goonies Beach. Yes,
oh, wow.
Yes. For my anniversary.
Beach?
It is in Cannon Beach. Cannon Beach is in Oregon.
Okay.
So this is going to be the first time that I've, for one, gone to Oregon. 2, it's going to be my first time going to a cold beach. I've never even imagined going to a cold beach. I didn't think that really existed.
What's a cold beach?
Cannon Beach. It's a beach that's not like hot.
What temperature is cold?
Not Florida.
60?
So I mean, they're going to be looking mid-60s next week. It's not a beach that people go there and like tan and do a lot of.
I've been to Pensacola in February is like 60 degrees, and I've done that a couple times. It's still fun.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah. Is it ocean? It's not ocean, right?
Yeah. Right. The Pacific's right there.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's the Pacific Ocean.
So it's gonna be freezing. It's gonna be freezing. All the water coming up from Canada.
Yeah.
All the glacier water, all that kind of stuff. I'm excited about it because when we were looking up going to a place for our anniversary, it's our 5-year anniversary. Shout out to you, baby.
5 years, please.
5 years is a long time. In dog years, dude, that's a lot of years.
Yeah.
But I was excited to go to a place where, I love the Goonies, man. Growing up, I watched the Goonies so many times, dude. Like,
I like the Goonies. It's a good show. Or a good movie, I guess. It was a kid. I tried to get my daughter to like it, and she's just not into it at all.
man, my oldest is like, man, my youngest is like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
So-
it's pretty cool to have him have that 30 years later.
Yeah, my daughter, she doesn't get into it, and my son just doesn't give a shit about anything. So, like,
That sounds about right.
yeah, like,
That's
he's like,
his
whatever,
info.
Dad. Like, he just runs away. Like, so.
But I'm excited to go, man. I've never been, like I said, never been to a cold beach, right? So a beach when it's cold, I guess
Right.
you call it that. And
So do you have any water events planned?
the only one I know for certain, or two we have for certain, is we're gonna go whale watching.
Okay, that's cool.
So I can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
Humpback whale season. This is like right prime time season for
Right.
it. And then there's a lighthouse that's pretty famous out there, so I'm gonna
Cool.
check out the lighthouse. But I'm really excited to do this Airbnb that's right there on the beach. We're gonna
Right.
walk down the steps, and we can like make a fire right there on the beach.
Nice.
And they're like, yeah, we encourage it. Go for it.
Awesome.
I'm like, how many times you get encouraged to start a fire, man? Like, this is awesome.
Beach parties at the fire are nice.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a good time. And then I've not done it. Except we live in Missouri, right? There's not
Go
a
ahead.
lot of beaches around here.
Right.
But the few times that I've been able to in my life be at a beach and start a fire, it's not too long before guests start showing up.
That's what I think, because you see it from miles away, right?
Yeah,
So you
so-
know it's a party going on.
Yeah. So be ready for some entertainment and stuff.
I
And,
can't
and
wait.
Just enjoy. You know, when I'm on vacation, I have one general rule of thumb.
Maximum fulfillment.
No, mine's embrace the weirdness. Like, if it's weird, lean into it. Meet new people. Really try to go outside, do
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Just try to do shit you don't normally do.
That's where I go, man. I go
Yeah.
for the experience. I want to make a memory about it. So, like, I don't really have any expectations besides don't go to jail and don't die.
Yeah,
Like,
that's it, man.
Those are pretty much.
You come home with those two things, you're in good shape.
I could lose all my money there and be like, I made it back though. It was a great time. So
Awesome.
that's my plan. And then I'm meeting one of my best friends out there too with his wife, celebrating his birthday. So
Nice.
it's gonna be a celebration of things.
Nice.
It's gonna be a fun time. Hopefully, I have some great stories when I come back.
Nice. Fantastic. That's
Awesome.
good news. Have a good trip.
I can't wait. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna dive right into I guess our episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. It's kind of funny, but let's dive into it. First question Nick has here for us to kick off the episode. Could you both give us your business background and history?
Well, we only have an hour.
Man, where did we start? Like,
Yeah. So how do we? You want me to go first, and you do yours?
how about do
And
that.
I'll try to do it really, really quickly. Right.
Yes.
So
And hit some of the early stages and stuff.
I'll hit
that
my
you
early
can
stages.
talk about, right?
Yeah. So I started working when I was 11 years old. I got a note from my mom to leave school early so I could walk to Baker's Restaurant and bus tables. So I'd bus tables
That's awesome though.
for like 80 cents an hour and then tips. So I was in 6th grade at the time, and I'd leave school early because my last class was kind of stupid anyway in 6th grade, and they would let me do it, so I did. And I'd walk just right across the street, and I would work at Baker's until like 6 or 7 o'clock after kind of the lunch rush. I think Baker's Restaurant's gone now in Arnold. And then from
Got it.
there, I would go over to the pool hall, and I had to deal with the pool hall owner that if I cleaned all the tables, I could play pool and foosball for free as long as I wanted.
You were winning then.
Yeah,
man.
so I would hustle for foosball because I was pretty good at foosball. I was an okay player of pool.
Did you spin? Were you a spinner?
On foosball?
Yeah.
Heck no.
Okay.
So I made it pretty far in foosball, and I could make some money playing foosball.
That's awesome.
Right, so I could take my tips from the night, and I could go make some more money playing foosball, and I at least always had jukebox money and a little bit of money to impress the girls.
Nice.
Right, at 11 years old. So fast forward, 14 years old, I get a worker's permit, so now I can have a legit job, and I go to work at Emo's Pizza. Emo's Pizza is a St. Louis brand.
Right.
And me and a close friend of mine at the time, he's passed away unfortunately because of pancreatic cancer, Jesse. We talked to the owner of Emo's, and we're like, hey, we could buy these vending machines, these little gumball machines like with M&Ms and shit in it.
Mm-hmm.
Can we put them in your lobby? And he's like, sure, if you do it right. You need to file an LLC, you need to get a vending license, you got to do all this stuff.
That's pretty cool, man. He's giving you good
So
advice.
at 15 years old, me and Jesse, we went out and we got our vending license, we got our first LLC, we did all this work, and I think we had about 20 vending machines throughout Arnold, these little gumball
Yeah.
machines running. We still worked at Emo's, it wasn't enough money to like do anything real. But you know, by the time I turned 16, I had money for a car and some other
Right,
stuff
right.
and these things like that. at 16, I started hustling my dad for a video camera. I really wanted a 3-chip camera so I could start making videos.
That was like top of the line back then, though.
Super top of the line. This is like the stuff that Channel 2 uses for their videos, right? It was, I think it was like $2,000 roughly, and it was out of a catalog, right? The internet was there, but it didn't really exist. You couldn't buy stuff really from the internet yet. So I had a magazine, and I was like, Dad, I really want to buy this camera. He's like, you don't have. He's like, I have the $2,000, dude. Like, but I don't have a credit card. Can I use your credit card? He's like, you can't use my credit card. I'm like, I'll give you the $2,000, but I need your credit card to buy this camera.
Right.
He's like, what are you gonna do with the camera? I'm like, I'm gonna call people. I'm gonna make commercials for TV. Right.
And that worked out.
I'm gonna do it, Dad. I'm gonna do it. He's like, no, and I'm like, finally, he talked him into doing it. I'm like, I'm gonna figure out how to do it with or without you. So,
you know what it was that made him like?
I don't even know how. I think I was just my relentlessness of asking him like every 5 minutes.
It was probably your mom being like, "Hey, just let the boy get the damn thing."
Yeah. So
Like,
finally, he's like, "You really have the money?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have the money in my room right now." So he's like, "Go bring me the money," and I'm ordering it. So my dad, he wouldn't even let me order it. So I give him the money. He
I
orders
wouldn't
me a
give you my
camera.
credit card either.
I open the Yellow Pages and I start calling right? The AAA Automotive was like probably my first call, right? From the Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I want to make a commercial. I'm like, shut up, kid. Hang up on me. I made like 1,000 phone calls. But now I have this camera and I started hobbling together this Amiga 1000 computer back then, right? This is, early 90s, right? So I get this Amiga video toaster and I can put graphics on stuff. And I started getting these jobs of putting pictures to video. People would send me like 200 or 300 pictures and I'd videotape them, like really like take a picture of it and transfer it to video. And then, this, I put one beneath my wings under it and this stuff. Make
It's
these,
almost like
these tearjerker videos for birthdays and funerals and shit. So I start doing that and get fairly successful, right? I start shooting weddings. I did some, I videotaped this like training video on how to pour concrete from this big firm. Started getting jobs. It took a while, but I started getting jobs. Ended up selling that company and my book of business to a company called MVP Multimedia Group. And I went to work at 19 years old, right out of high school. I started Broadcast Center in high school, kind of weird situation.
Right.
So I had my associate's degree only a couple months after high school graduation.
That's awesome.
But I went to work, and then, I'm skipping a whole bunch of stuff here. Went to work for MVP Multimedia Group. They got in some trouble, and they lost their business. And basically, at the time, we didn't understand licensing of music and playwrights and stuff like that. So there was some trouble that we got into.
Did you do a Jolt commercial?
I did. I worked on the Jolt logo.
Oh, okay.
At a company called Pacific Productions, and we worked on the Jolt logo around that same time.
That's
and
cool,
then,
man.
so sold that company, went to work for MVP Multimedia Group. From there, I kind of flounder for a while, right? I'm just kind of like trying to make films, I'm trying to make movies, I'm trying to get DJ jobs, I'm just kind of hopping all over the place. Not really even thinking about starting a business again, right? I don't know why, it just wasn't in my wheelhouse at the time. I had a girlfriend.
You didn't really want to do at that point, right?
No, I just kind of wanted to live my life and not really, hobo was like a definite decision potential. And then, fast forward to 1999. I guess after that, so I had a whole lot of stage experience, right? A whole lot of stage and film experience, and I got a job at Suburban Noise Records, and so I went on the road for a while with some hip hop.
That's awesome.
Some hip hop bands and stuff like that. And that was a great time. I'd always done, anytime there was a festival in town, I would sign up to volunteer as a stage manager or assistant AD or anything like that. I volunteered. I still volunteer all the time, right? I do a volunteer job right now of announcing. So I'd always volunteer. I did my internship at the Kiel Center, which is now, I don't know what it is today.
Enterprise Center.
Enterprise Center was my internship. So I worked for the Jumbotron. And I did stuff like I was the announcer for the Stampede. I was assistant director for the Ambush.
I heard you. I went to those games, dude.
Yeah, I did all kinds of jobs at the Kiel Center. But then I got in a really bad car accident about that time too at the Kiel Center, and
I got hit by an 18-wheeler, so I was 18 months in rehab. That's probably why I wasn't trying to start businesses at the time. I got hit by an 18-wheeler, dislocated both shoulders, fractured my skull, dislocated some, blew some disc on my back. 18 months in rehab, went through all of that stuff, and that's when I got the job. After that rehab is when I got the job at Suburban Records.
Got it.
So, did all of that. Did some cheesy like art studio films from when I was at Webster University. Wasn't there long. Got home from that tour with Suburban Noise and didn't have anything, nothing lined up at all.
Right.
And my dad's like, "Hey, my buddy's got this computer shop. You know computers. You do all this video editing stuff." I'm like, "Yeah." So I learned computers as a byproduct of film and audio in the early 90s, right? Because I really loved film. I loved video. But to do those, I loved film, cut and film, right? And I loved audio, reel to reel. I did not like editing film nonlinear, and I did not like editing audio nonlinear, but I really liked the tangible of editing.
So the camera you had, you did legit film. It wasn't video.
No, I did A/B roll.
Oh, okay.
With my camera,
Okay.
yeah. I didn't mind that, but when it really got super technical, computer,
Right.
I lost. It became very obvious to me that anybody can do this.
That made you not want to do it?
It made me not want to do it, right? Because before, I fell in love with computers because nobody else knew what it was. I fell in love with film and video because nobody else knew what it was, right?
The taboo stuff.
And I'm probably that's probably why I'm falling in love with NFTs right now because nobody else knows what the hell it is, right? So, I have a philosophy in life: run the opposite direction of the crowd. That is my philosophy, 100%. So that's what I try to do in almost all things. So, and it worked for me last week. You were going to run with the crowd. I'm like, I think I'd sell my Dogecoins. I don't think I'd buy. The crowd's running towards them. I think I'd run the other direction.
It did work for me.
It works for me more than it doesn't. So run the opposite direction of the crowd is one of my big philosophies in life. So I realized editing was getting super, super simple. It wasn't an art anymore. People could put together videos pretty quickly and edit them. We had a Media 100 at the Kiel Center, which was $50,000 editing machine. But now anybody can edit with a $1,000 desktop, right? And do a pretty good job, right?
Now there's
really
there's some decent free stuff that you can even get.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I kind of fell out of love with it as a job because the industry, the entertainment industry, just beats the hell out of you. Like they use you 100%. So
you're a dime a dozen. There's a bunch of people that want to get into it.
Yeah. So I'm back in St. Louis. I'm working for my dad's friend. They're running this little computer shop. It was okay. And then I started working at Primary Network in '99. Primary Network sells in '99 to a company called Empower. I go to work for Empower. Now they're e-commerce analysts for brands like Wonder Bread, Peabody Energy, right? So I'm doing all the e-commerce stuff for them. 2000 bubble hits, so the .com industry just goes to shit. And then we formed Hosterian in 2001, and I've been with Hosterian since. But at Hosterian for the last 20 years, I've gotten to do some great things. We built a product called Intra ISP, which we sold to AOL.com, and
awesome.
And for their Netscape project, we had McCall Wireless on it. We had a whole bunch of people on that thing. We've done 20-something acquisitions in the last more than 20 acquisitions in the last 20 years. I think we did 34 acquisitions in the total.
That's awesome.
And we've got to launch a whole bunch of companies, right? Because Hosterian is an entrepreneurial spirited company, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got to see companies form, excel. We've got to see some of them go. There was a company called Primary WebWorks back in the day that turned into, which is now, its final iteration is currently a company called Proficient, which is a publicly traded company. We did the Intra ISP. We started a company called GameRail, which was the largest peer network in the world at the time. It was ahead of its time, so it never got to revenue. But some of the technology went to a company called OnLive, and now it's some of what you hear now about edge networking was what we were doing with GameRail 15 years ago. Right?
That's crazy.
So built a lot of social networks in my life, built a lot of websites.
You talked about that last time, how you guys built over 100,000.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff that we've done as an individual and as a team, and it's just been a whole lot of fun. and you know, if one of my tenets is, you know, run the opposite way of the crowd,
Yeah.
my major tenet is have fun, right, and be happy. So that's my main goal in life, and that's what I really try to focus on. So that's my story in about 10 minutes.
I tried so hard not to ask any more questions about all these other parts that I know a little bit about.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I could go
The whole
10
show.
or 20 hours
Just on that question.
Yeah, just on that question. So I'm trying to like wrap it up into the high points.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I love technology. I love dealing with stuff. I love, and I don't know if it's conceit. I don't know what it is about me. I love knowing shit that other people don't know. And I don't know why. And it's just whenever we're having the conversation, it's that I can get into the conversation and be in there at a level.
I mean, it probably makes you feel needed. It makes you feel wanted. It makes you feel valued. I mean, there's a lot of really good things you can feel by having information that other people don't have.
So like right now, there hasn't been anything new since cryptocurrency, right? So cryptocurrency is the new internet, and then cryptocurrency was new. I've lost a ton in cryptocurrency. I made a little bit, lost a lot. So now NFTs are the new thing, and I mean, you talk to anybody in the office, that's all that's on my TV. Nonstop. It's just watching NFT videos, just back to back to back to back, and trying to learn it. And I think I've overcome some hurdles today on my knowledge of minting cryptocurrency or minting NFTs.
Got it.
So,
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And who knows what's next, and we'll see.
We'll see.
Right? And it won't be NFTs, will not be the final. Also, so through the we started a company called River City Mining, I guess, in 2015 or 16. Did some mining. 2016, we ended up dissolving the company and selling all the assets. And with that money, I ended up buying a boxing gym.
Oh yeah.
Which I still own and operate today.
Yeah.
Totally skipped over owning a boxing gym.
Oh my God! How do you forget about that?
So, which is a huge part of my life today.
Yeah, it really is.
Which is, having the boxing gym to me and being a boxer, amateur boxer, just helps me mentally attack each day. Working a business is a fight every single day. Running a business is a fight, and having that mentality of going in and knowing that, hey, this is going to be a fight, and I might lose this round, I might lose this match, but I'm not done. I'll keep going. I'll go back and train more. I'll learn more and keep going. So that's kind of I like that correlation, and it just helps me deal with the day-to-day business of the highs and lows, right? Because there's
a daily grind.
There's a lot of lows, and when you're running a business, there's a lot of highs too. But there's more lows than there are highs. As a sales guy, you know that there's 100 lows for every high.
Right.
So,
right. Some of them last longer than others.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So I guess I can start from the kind of beginning. I guess let's say my very first job, really, I used to sell candy.
Yeah.
Like everybody was always asking for candy. My mom was a teacher, so she always had tons of candy that she would just like give kids for like doing what they need to do at school.
Right.
And she would give it to me. So I took it to school and I'd sell it. I was
100% margin.
100% margin. It was great. It was great. Yeah. I did that until like that's how I paid for all of my stuff, right? So like I played hockey, I rollerbladed, or not rollerblade, but like the skate kind of stuff, skateboards, building ramps and shit like that, snowboards, golf. I tried golfing, wasn't very good at it. Everything, really everything.
Right.
So after that, all my friends really just started cutting grass.
Yeah.
Where I lived at, nobody wanted to cut their own grass. Everybody paid someone to cut their grass. So I'm like, well, let me jump in on this. And I got doing it. I'm like, I really don't like this. Like, I don't like this at all. So I got out of that. And by that time frame, I was just approaching the time frame where I could start going to work and getting paid because my mom refused to like sign off on the worker's permit.
Right.
So my very first
totally opposite of my mom.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. I'd be like writing notes at 11. Not about at school to go work.
My mom was like, my mom's a teacher, so she's like, no, school, right? So like, she wanted me to be a teacher. You know what I mean? So that time frame, then I got my first W-2 job, and I started working for Arby's.
Nice.
Loved working for Arby's. Loved their food there. It was great. I left there to go to White Castle, and I felt like White Castle was like slave labor. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Then I went for Berlin Coat Factory. And I did this all in like 3 months.
Right.
And I loved it at Bromley Coat Factory because all my friends worked there, and it was the highest paying job of all the other ones, and we got a huge discount. So I went back to still hustling because I would buy stuff with my discount and sell them to people around because they saw me wearing fresh clothes.
Right.
I got the discount, right? So it just worked out. And obviously, I got all the deals. I got stuff on clearance and all that kind of good stuff. Did that until I got to college. When I got to college, I started working for my cousin. He had a property construction management company. And I just dove into that. I love the idea of being my own boss. I just thought that was really cool. I felt like all the most powerful men that I like idolized, they were all business owners.
Okay.
So I'm like, I gotta be like that. I don't know what it is, but I gotta run a business.
Right.
So I started working there, and then at that point, I was there for a while until he passed away, and then I totally just lost my passion for that business. And then I kind of bounced around a little bit, Then I ended up getting a couple more W-2 jobs. My son was born. I needed insurance for him, so I started working at UPS. That totally was not fun at all. In my mind, I was like, this is just a workout. They're paying me to work out, so just go work out, right? Not fun at all. Whatever it felt like outside, it felt like in there. And that's tough work. Tough work. So I got out of there, and now with the manager over at Budget Rental Car. That's when I started one of my businesses that was mildly successful. Because I was working there at Budget, and I was working at UPS, and my car was so clean and smelled so good. People would smell me when I pulled up. They're like, I smelled your car, dude.
Right.
They're like, who cleans your car? I'm like, me. Like, will you clean mine? I'm like, well, how much you charge me? Or how much would you pay for it?
Right.
And next thing you know, I have a auto detailing company.
Nice.
So me and my friend, we did that because we both like our cars clean. And since I worked at Budget Rental Car, I had a bay where I can come there, wash, I can do everything I needed there. And the guy there that ran it was like, dude, do your thing, I don't care.
Right.
Just don't mess up at work. So I did that. And it got to the point where we got ready to sell it because like we just didn't want to do that. It was so much manual labor.
Right.
Like one of these got to go. And the place that has the benefits, that one's not going to go.
Right. You got kids.
Right, exactly. So I got out of that and then started medical debt collection, which made me enough money to be able to quit both those two jobs. But not fun work at all there neither.
Yeah, collection sucks.
Bounced around trying to figure out, I'm like, well, I got to get out of here, man. Got into the insurance industry. There, I've been in there for about 10 years. I was in there for 10 years, 35 different states, licensed in property and casualty and life and health. 35 different states, right? So I'm all over the place. Most of my sales were over the phone, talking to people or all kinds of stuff, right? I did a lot of specialty stuff, so like long-term care, disability insurance, life insurance, supplement insurance plans, and then things for people like RVs, motorcycles, and boats. If you can talk the talk, people they just love it. They want to talk to you. They want to buy. Did that for a while until I almost got shot. Straight bullet hit my windshield while I was driving, trying to sell a life insurance policy, and I couldn't get over the fact that I'm trying to sell a life insurance policy and almost died. The bullet was so close to going through my windshield, man. It just got lucky that it didn't go through.
Right.
And that's when I came here.
Right.
That's when I came here.
And today you specialize in social media management for insurance companies.
Exactly.
Or for insurance, not insurance companies.
It's not just them, for the agencies, really.
For the agencies and the agent.
Right.
Really.
Because now I've been in the world for exactly. So all the independent brokers. Right. So like they're not a captive agent. It was like a farmer's agent can only sell farmers.
Right.
Right. So there's
a broker can sell anybody.
Anyone they get contracted with.
So what you're focusing on now is not social media, but digital marketing for independent brokers.
Exactly.
Right.
And I didn't mean to. It kind of just fell into that because I've been in the world. I post on social media, and they reach out to me like, "Man, can you help me with this?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, you know both worlds, right? And
exactly.
then you know both worlds, and this is the vertical you can help the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now I'm just diving deeper into that,
And then clicks and bricks.
And then clicks and bricks, right? Oh, and then I forgot. I work at Title Boxing too.
Yeah.
So I work at the boxing gym, and I'm on my way to working to be a amateur boxer myself. Looking forward to that next year. And training people, helping people just hit their goals, So whether it's fitness, whether it's business, I'm helping people get their goals, and that's something that I've always just really, really enjoyed.
Right.
That brings me like pleasure.
Right.
Helping people overcome hurdles.
Yes. I'm going to do a shout out really quick to our producers. Producers, we need a clock that we can see with the new layout.
Yeah.
Right.
That'll help us out.
Yeah. So right now, I feel bad looking at my phone, make sure that
I keep looking at my watch and looking
So if you don't know, we've changed our layout today. This is our first show with this layout. And with the old layout, we could see the clock, and today we can't. So if we rant for too long, it's because we can't see our timer. It's behind us now. But now we're going to take a quick break and do This Week in Tech History.
Yes, we are. Which is brought to you by My Team Fitness.
Brought to you by My Team Fitness, daily workouts. I think they're going through some transitions right now. They're still sponsoring this event, this segment, but they're getting ready to make a pivot. So
A pivot, yeah.
We're not talking to them this week, but we'll talk to them. Still, My Team Fitness is today's sponsor for Tech History.
There you go. All right, so This Week in Tech History, April 23rd, 2005, the first YouTube video was posted.
Whoa.
The first YouTube video uploaded to YouTube, Me at the Zoo, is posted on April 23rd, 2005 at 8:27 p.m. by co-founder, I think it's Jared Kareem.
Okay.
For being a piece of history. This video is actually pretty dumb. Laugh out loud. That's what he put there.
All right. So 2005. So just to show you how fast technology moves, 2005 is only 16 years ago.
Not very far, man.
Not that long ago. The very first video post, and if you've ever created an online project, you know that the very first video you post is not going to get any views.
It's not going to be very good, neither.
It might not be any good. Who knows? It might be great, right?
Typically,
doesn't matter. Like the very first one is going to be very slow,
Mm-hmm.
but now YouTube is an everyday used tool for me.
It is for a lot of people.
Right? I use it every day for entertainment. I use it almost every day.
For education.
I use it almost every day for education, almost every day for entertainment, and then on the weekends I use it for how-tos, quite a bit, right? Because I like to tinker with my Jeep. I like to do survivalist stuff. I like to do prepping stuff. So I use YouTube. I might be an extreme YouTube user.
You're absolutely extreme YouTube user.
But I think that people are using it. I mean, my son only watches YouTube.
People use it a lot. Like, I use it every single day.
Right.
But I do not use it for entertainment.
Okay, my son only watches YouTube. It's the only channel he watches.
I thought he liked the Disney.
My daughter likes the Disney Channel.
I
My
thought he
son,
liked that he could put it all on the same channel. And all
he does that. If he does a Disney movie, then he puts it on all the channels, all the TVs at the same time.
It's pretty cool.
But I would say 90% of the time he's watching, and he watches the weirdest shit on YouTube, man. Like, he goes, marble races are super dope. Like, and they build these marble races
They are
extravagant.
They're
man.
addictive,
They are
man.
insane.
It's hard to not watch it when you start watching it, though.
And then, I mean, you got the Try Guys and all that stuff. Those are like the mainstream stuff. But then you've got like, he watches this little old grandma. I swear to God, she just opens candy and eats candy. And he loves it. And I'm like, what the hell are you watching, dude? Like, he's only 9, so I know he's not a pothead. But I'm like, how is this even?
That's all she does?
It's this little old grandma, and she's got this horrible squeaky voice, and she opens these candies and she describes them, and she like really goes into detail about each candy, and then she eats it. Sometimes it's like, hard candy, sometimes it's like different potato chips, like the.
Your son likes to eat, though.
He likes to shop more than he likes to. He's a rock star eater. I mean, he's just a little skinny stick because he just constantly runs, but he doesn't eat a lot.
Yeah.
But he likes to shop more. Like, he'll spend hours just on Instacart looking at stuff. Weird. I mean, he's nonverbal autistic, so he's not a mainstream child. Anyway, but he really does not watch mainstream content, man. He likes some weird shit. So, but anyway,
I don't know why that amuses me, but it does, man. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah.
He's found something that he enjoys, though. Like, I love it when people can find something they enjoy. That's a hard thing, man.
I mean, I enjoy all kinds of shit. It's like, I have a problem of finding, making sure that I'm doing the shit that I enjoy instead of getting caught up in shit that I don't. Right?
But how many people do you know or talk to who are like, I do not like doing what I do every single day?
They should quit doing it.
I agree.
They should just not do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's a miserable life. What are you doing living?
Most people live that life, man.
I just don't understand. I can't even comprehend living a life that you didn't enjoy. I don't even know why you would do it.
That's one of my tenets, man. I am not going to live a life that I do not enjoy. That's like relationships, that's jobs, that's what I do in my free time, that how I spend my time, like the
Yeah,
manner
I know
of
some
how I
people
spend
don't
my time.
have a choice, right? When I was younger, I stopped doing this when I had my daughter. So I stopped 14 years ago. I used to be a mentor at a school called Epworth in St. Louis, and Epworth is a school for children that don't fit anywhere else, right? And so I would mentor kids that were lived on campus at Epworth, which basically they called it Epworth on campus living, basically prison. It's a concrete room, 6 foot by 6 foot.
Oh man.
With a cot and a toilet, and the doors are locked when they're in there. It's basically a prison. There are not a lot of electronics when they're in there. So it's horrible. So I'd mentor kids there, and I would always say, what do you want to do when you grow up, or what do you want out of life? And they would tell me these things, and I would just like, okay, what's your plan to get there? What are you going to do next to get there, right? And if you don't have that, then you don't know how to make a good life. You don't know how to make a happy life. So I think it's important for people to know how to not only set goals, but then to say, okay, how am I going, if I set a goal, what actions am I going to take to get there? And I think people are like, oh, I want to be rich. Okay, what are you going to do to get there? Oh, maybe win the lottery. I'm like, what? Well, that's okay. You might be winning $1 billion. I don't know.
Join the other billion people that want to win the lottery.
If your plan is to be a millionaire, be rich by winning lottery, how many lottery tickets are you going to buy a day? Right? I mean,
at least plan that out.
Right? So you're definitely not going to win if you don't play. So how many are you going to buy a day? 100? All right. So you got to go Uber for 4 hours, then you can buy your 100 tickets. And then you might get rich, right?
Yeah.
And if you can double that down, but you got to have a damn plan. It can't just be, I want X, Y, or Z. You got to say, I want X, Y, or Z, and this is how I'm going to go get it.
Facts.
Right? And then
Facts.
from there, it'll ebb and flow.
And you gotta go with the flow.
The plan's not going to work.
It's not, but you gotta
I don't think I've
learn
ever
from
had
it
a
and
plan
move
that
forward.
worked the way I intended it.
Really?
Not once.
Not even close?
No, not one time. I don't have a single time that I created a plan and every single part of the plan executed properly. Or the way that I envisioned it, right? So you have to go with the flow.
You're right.
We're opening this new business, and I was like, what about this? What about this? And we just got our final permits last Friday, right? We're 5 weeks behind schedule, right? Because they told us that they would grandfather the bathrooms, and they said, no, we're not going to grandfather the bathrooms. So now we got to bring all the bathrooms up to ADA compliance. Puts us, and we knew, I was pushing the contracts, like, can you get it done in 2 weeks? He's like, I'll try, knowing that there's no way to do it. Put us 5 weeks behind, but then even the last inspection's like, what if we don't pass? I'm like, if we don't pass, then we'll adjust our plan. Like, it's okay. It'll suck, but we think we're going to pass, but we don't know. We were supposed to open 6 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, and 2 days before they open, it's like, hey, we're not going to approve these bathrooms. You got to redo them, right?
What can you do?
What can you do? You either give up or you move forward,
right?
And what I found in life is if you make the decision that I always move forward, I never ever stop moving forward, then shit will just fall into place.
Yes.
You'll figure it out. You're like, I won't have the money. I made a decision today. We bought a $50,000 piece of equipment today. $50,000. I don't have the money. Don't have the money yet. But I am positive by the time it gets here, gets installed, and gets configured, that I will have figured out how to get that money. Right? But at the end of the day, that piece of equipment is supporting my clients, and it's important. And I mean, unfortunately, the building runs fine without it. But I have this one piece of equipment that's not redundant, so I'm buying another piece just like it, so that if it fails, I can be up.
Okay.
So
you can keep your money, but you're about keeping.
That's my defense, right? It's
You like that.
defending my position. So
Yeah.
And that money's
That's
defending my
important.
position, and I have to do it. I don't have a choice because in IT, not only do you have to worry about your clients with equipment, if your staff and your engineers start seeing the company isn't investing in growth, then you start losing your employees. You lose morale. Like, man, I'm not gonna fight for you if you're not going to take the risks when it needs to be there, right? So, I think we're way off on tangents now.
But no, we're almost kind of on this question here.
Okay.
I mean, the question says, tell us a business-related story you think everyone in business starting a business should hear.
Oh.
And you kind of did that, man.
Yeah. So I have a great story on business, and it's not my story, but it's one that somebody's told me.
Let's go for it.
So I do own a Title Boxing Club today, I don't know the state of Title Boxing Club sold, and they're this box union or something like that. I'm not sure, but the previous CEO is John Rashi, who was director of operations for
Krispy Kreme.
first Domino's and then Krispy Kreme's, but he also was one of the founders of Decked and Hoods, which is Decked or Hoods is a hood cleaning service for restaurants and stuff like that, or Ducks, and then Ducks is a duck cleaning service.
Got it.
Right. So, and he told me this story one day about Krispy Kreme's, and it's a very important story because Krispy Kreme thought that they were a donut company. They thought that their product was donuts, and they were blowing up nationwide all over the place.
Yeah, I remember.
And because they thought that their product was donuts, they started selling them to local gas stations, and they started pre-packaging them and sending them out. And you can barely find a Krispy Kreme today, right? And what they didn't realize at the time is that their product was the hot donuts now, or fresh donuts now. That was really their product. That was the draw to them. And whenever a Krispy Kreme donut was sold and put in a grocery store, it's not the same. It's
Like
a
every other
different
donut.
product. So now people just associate them with Hostess and every other commodity donut on the planet, right? Well, if you're selling a commodity, you know it sucks. It's a shitty business to be in. If it's selling a commodity, it's a race to the bottom because you're only competing on price.
Period.
Right?
That's it.
So Fresh Donuts was Krispy Kreme's product. They really screwed it up by going to the grocery stores. And today you can't find a fresh. I mean, I had to drive 40 minutes to get a Krispy Kreme donut today.
I got to drive about 20 minutes, so
Right.
at least.
Yeah.
At
So,
least.
the hot donut was their product, and they missed
Right.
that. And know your product, know your audience, right? Hands down, and that's what's going to help you move forward. 100%, and I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
And you told me today how empowered it felt when you told a client that asked you for something,
No, we don't
it's
do
not
that.
what we do.
Yeah.
Right? So know what you do well and do it well.
That was going to be my advice, actually.
And if you don't know, and don't take the job that you're not going to be good at.
That was going to be my story, right? Because it was very empowering. So mentally, it was super awesome to have that. I call that a victory.
Okay.
But it was really, I think it felt good for my client for me to tell them that, because a lot of times people are scared to do business with people, right? There's so many people getting, especially when it comes to IT stuff. People are like, man, I know these fly-by-night people. These people just cut corners. I don't know if I can trust you. Are you going to treat me like the last guy treated me?
Right.
Then nickel and dime me when it's really your fault anyway.
Right.
So for her, me telling her that we don't do that,
Right.
she was like, oh, wow. Like her response was, oh, okay. So I can tell by how she gave me that response, I could tell at that moment she was like, oh man, this guy's legit.
Yeah, because I'm only going to do things for you that I'm going to do well.
Yes, and she got that. She got that.
And we do have a product, like, I do brainstorming sessions with people just because I'm pretty good at digging, right? So I do have a rate for brainstorming, but stuff like she was wanting us to make a training manual.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I'm like, that's not our jam.
There's other companies out there that can do training manuals
Yeah.
that aren't us. Could we do it? Probably.
And I just knew in my head, there's no way we could do that the best that would really make it worth it.
Yeah, for her or us, right? We would,
Exactly.
We might get a little bit of money. We probably do a half-ass job for her because we've never wrote we write training manuals for our company all the time.
Yeah.
But we have intimate knowledge of our company, right?
Yeah.
Wildly intimate.
Right.
And we build our processes and procedures based on our people and our products, right? So I think that's the right call, and it's a hard decision.
It's hard to say no, because you want to take the business. As a salesperson, you want to say yes. You never want to say no. But there's a lot of power in saying no, whether it's saying no to a certain type of service you don't provide, or just saying no to a client. There's power in that too.
Yes.
Saying, you know what, this relationship is not good. I'm not going to be the best for you.
It's hard.
It's
very
super
hard to say no
hard.
to a client,
It's
right?
super hard.
It's super hard. And you should really reserve it for when the client's asking you to do something that's not in your wheelhouse at all.
Yes.
Right? If it's a
Absolutely.
little bit in your wheelhouse, yeah, make the decision. Because
If
there's
your wheelhouse is here and they're way over there, like facing the opposite direction,
right.
it's not your jam.
There's only two kinds of work in the world. There's scheduled work and unscheduled work. And scheduled work is the work you know how to do, right? Unscheduled work, it costs a lot more money to do, and it's not very replicatable.
I'd say it just cost. It costs you time, it
Cost.
costs you energy,
Yeah.
it costs you money, it costs you a headache,
Yeah.
it costs you fighting with your damn staff about it. Like,
Yeah.
it just cost,
Yep.
right?
Awesome.
All right,
Good
so move on
question.
to that's a great question, Nick.
I think we got time for one more question.
One more question. All right, question 3.
I think we have 10 minutes. Did we start 2 minutes late?
Oh, yeah, we did start about 5 minutes late.
We have 15 minutes left. Oh, we're rushing for no reason.
Oh, we got some time there. We got some
Yeah,
time.
we started a little late today.
That's what I was thinking in my mind, but I
Yeah.
forgot we started late.
Yes.
All right, so question 3 is, what is your one favorite story from your business experience? That's
One
tough.
favorite story from my business experience.
That's tough.
That's a tough one. I don't have a great solution there or great answer there. I mean, I've got a lot of
All
great
these stories are
stories.
pop- Yeah, I'm trying to think
Yeah.
what's my favorite though.
I don't have a good one. I don't have a good one off the top of my head. That's rare.
I think it may not be my favorite, but it was definitely something that was empowering for me.
Yeah.
Was that when I was in my insurance industry, I went to apply for Northwestern Mutual, and they had a temperament profile test, and if you pass the test, you go on to the next stage, right? If you don't pass the test, you're not gonna fit here.
Right.
I didn't pass the test, and they told me that insurance is really not for you. And I took that you don't get to decide what I can do or not. So I went to GMAC and just with total chip on my shoulder, crushed it. I was their top 9 in the top 9 of their performance the entire time I was there. They're in a brand new industry, right? So much that when they sold and moved to Cleveland, Ohio, they were like, we want to give you this this package to go ahead and relocation, all this kind of good stuff. And I'm like, I'm not leaving my family. I can't. This doesn't work for me.
Right.
So then I decided to stay in insurance and figure out what I'm going to do next. And I saw something pop up on my feed that Northwestern Mutual was hiring again. So I put in my application with the sole purpose of just telling them, you guys said I couldn't do it, and I crushed it. Right? So I went into the interview super pompous, man. I put on my best suit, fresh haircut. I would do that anyway, but
Right.
just big chest, right? I go in there. I'm like, listen, I just want to let you guys know that we've done this before, and you said that I wouldn't do it, and I did it. I sold an average of $35,000 to $45,000 of annual premium every single month consecutively.
Right.
So I can't.
Yeah.
And I start walking out. And then she said, okay, listen, come back. She's like, come back. This is how you pass the test. We want you here. And that's how I started working at Northwestern
All
Mutual.
right. Cool.
So it was cool just to have that I told you so moment, but
Right.
it also made me just realize that if you're confident about something, you can do any damn thing.
Yes. So I do have, I'll dig a recent story.
Okay.
And it was a recent client, and when I say recent, it was within the last year.
Okay.
We had a guy come to us, and his name's Brian Langley, and he was a U.S. Marshal, and he passed his bar exam, so now he's a lawyer or attorney, I'm not sure the difference, and he was working at a firm in another state. He wanted to start his own firm here in Missouri, and he was very hesitant, extremely hesitant about it. And I was like, and we really pushed him for, what kind of law do you want to practice? He's like, well, family law, but I want to do this, and this. I'm like, well, that's not going to work, Brian.
You gotta pick one, man.
You can do that other stuff, but for us to create you a plan and a marketing strategy and all that stuff, you have to pick a line and run with it. And we can build that for you, and we can do the whole thing. And he was super hesitant, and this was actually January of 2020 was when we started this process.
Right. I didn't meet him until March.
Yeah. So it was January of 2020 when we started this process, and he was super nervous about it. He's like, man, I've got a wife and some kids, and man, I can't just quit my firm and go. And I told him, like, dude, if you pick a line, tell me what line you want to pick. You were telling me about 3 of them, but we can really drive one of them home. And he chose divorce, family attorney for divorce. and he said, okay, we're gonna get started. And I don't think he quit his firm yet. At that point in time, like, okay, so we'll build your website. And he had way too much input on his website. I hate it. Don't like it at all.
But he loves it.
But he loves it, and he had a lot of input. So we build websites one of two ways: either with you or without you. I prefer without the client, or not without the client on the design aspect. Like, you say, okay, here's your 3 themes. Pick your theme.
Right.
And then we start filling the content. But he really wanted a lot of input on his theme, and I really don't care for it that much, but it sells, so I don't care. So we chose Divorce, and we got him in the Google 3-pack. We did his directory listings. We created a Google ad for him, and we created a Facebook ad for him. We did all of these things, and then COVID hits, right? So now he's super worried, but he lost his job anyway. He's not working at the firm, so he's like, okay, now I'm all in. And today, he's looking at hiring staff because he's too busy to keep up.
But he's looking for a while. He's been busy.
He's been looking for. So today, and one of the videos that I'll be making here soon is how to hire in a digital age. I know we did a whole podcast for it, but I'll be working with Nick on a video on how to hire in post-COVID world and some of the tactics that we use here. Because we run 2 buildings 24/7, 365, which is a challenge as well, right? Finding people that work overnights 24/7 is a challenge, and we've developed a process for ourselves that really knocks it home. So
That's awesome.
I think any time that I have, owning a boxing gym, I have wins all the time because I have these people that come to me, you changed my life, you made me stronger, I can pick up my kids again, I've lost all this weight. So I have just 1,000 stories of wins there. I have 1,000 stories of wins here. The biggest win that I have here, and it's not a big financial win for us, it's a relatively small deal in all things,
The bigger scheme.
in all things considered, right? But he bought some other directories too, but he accredits a lot of his success to the work that we did in the early parts of his business. And now he is branching out to more stuff than Divorce, but he's really rocking that
He's
Divorce stuff. Yeah, and he's got client every time I've been in his office, he's got somebody in there. So
Yeah.
I've got to wait for him now instead of waiting for us. So. That's a huge win for me, and it's recent, and it's relative to COVID world. It's relevant to the current landscape of digital marketing. So a lot of people they give the excuse of, oh, COVID happened, I can't do business. Well, that's just bullshit. You can do business still, right?
Yes.
People are still living their lives. They're still moving. They're still doing stuff. Is it slow? Is it more challenging? Yeah, it might be.
Absolutely.
But on the other note is that there's been thousands of businesses shut down, so the competition is dropping.
Right.
Competition in almost every industry is dwindling because these businesses are giving up.
Well, they're taking that kind of approach. I can't do it. It's COVID.
Well, and I don't want to use a Gary Vee term, but I mean they fold like cheap chairs, right? And it just goes back to people's convictions and what they really want in life. And I do this because I don't know anything else, and I love it. So
Life is always going to test your mettle. That's what my dad's always told me, that life is always going to test your mettle, and you'll find out. He said, "Son, you'll find out the older you get how strong your metal is and how strong everyone else's metal is. Some people's metal is as strong as aluminum foil."
Yeah. I say a lot. I don't use the term metal, but I'm saying it's just flesh and bone. They got stitches and bones heal. So I'm gonna get damaged.
But people get their feelings hurt.
Yeah, I do not want to be on the other side of this ground in mint condition.
No.
I want this body used and beat. So,
you want to earn yourself.
I want to live it. I don't want to coast through this life. I'm only gonna die once. So everything before that, I want
live
to
every day,
be.
man.
Yeah. So
I don't want to live every day like it's my last, but I just want to live with a high quality of life. That's my whole goal.
Yeah.
I want a high quality of life. Whether that high quality be in my health or that day, it could be pleasure that day. I don't know.
Yeah. Always pleasure. Pleasure and happiness. Those are literally tattooed on my body. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very high priorities for me is pleasure and happiness.
Man. Do we have enough time for another question?
I think we do. I think we've got about 8 minutes.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Question 4 is, what's the best business advice you've gotten?
The best business advice that I've gotten. Nothing we're doing is illegal or will kill us. is the best advice I've ever gotten.
Oh man.
Right. So you're not going to go to jail. You're not going to die. I was dealing with a rent condition that was we were paying $60,000 a month in rent for this space, and a key tenant filed bankruptcy and left. And my board will not even consider bankruptcy. They will not consider government protection for finance at all. We will always earn our keep. We will dig out of whatever hole we get ourselves in. We will not go for that protection. Because if you do, then it's a stain on you forever. I don't know if I 100% agree with it or not, but it's my board and I follow their rules with this company. So I have to do it. And we had $60,000 a month rent, and the key tenant filed bankruptcy, so we didn't have a key tenant anymore. So now we're way upside down, and we really needed that rent a way big reduction. At the same time, I got really sick. I was very, very sick at the time. And we're going through this process, and I had a whole lot of mental stress for my life, and plus this other thing where I couldn't afford this rent, and we were dealing with the lawyers and judges and all this stuff, trying to figure out, how do we not file bankruptcy, but this guy's also getting to sue us because we're not paying him his total rent.
Right.
And my CEO said, Ken, there's nothing here that we're doing that's illegal, so it can't put us in jail, and it's not going to kill us.
Move forward.
So just keep moving forward, just keep working the deal, and we'll get there. I've got 2 other pieces of advice that I have
That's pretty good stuff. That's
that I live my life by, and it's in Apollo 13 when they were flying that rocket or that ship back home, they weren't bickering, they weren't panicking, they were just working the problem, right? And had they panicked, had they did anything, they trusted their training and they worked the problem. And they ran into instances that they've never been trained to do. They just kept working the problem. They got themselves home. So keep working the problem. And then the last piece of advice that I got from one of my mentors who's passed away as well is that even birds figure out how to eat when there's snow on the ground. Right?
True.
So it doesn't matter how desolate your situation is. You will find it if you consistently work at it and keep moving forward. You will find enough substance to survive, and if you can survive long enough, then you will end up thriving if you keep working towards that. So
fly south,
or you can leave. Yeah, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes they don't get to do that. And,
right.
So those are some of my key things that I like to on business advice. I know some of them are a little cheesy.
No,
but,
I think I like it though, man.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff.
Those are kind of things that I live every day by. And because sometimes being a business owner, entrepreneur, leader of a company, it can get lonely, it can get scary, it can be those
Absolutely.
things. And there's sometimes you're looking at. I have situations right now that I'm looking at like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do here. So in those cases, I pull in my team, we talk about it, we vet it out. Sometimes we beat the hell out of it. Sometimes we go overboard talking about it. But we've always. Every problem I've ever got into, we found a solution for and got out of it. So
Winning.
And I've been in some pretty hairy shit. So I'm pretty confident now that we can figure out stuff moving forward.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling right there.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling.
It takes a while to get that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to earn those stripes.
Those are stripes earned. They're not good.
Right. I would probably say 2 things for me. One would be to surround yourself around a good team. And rather that team be inside of your business or just your support system, there's going to be time frames, like you said, where you don't have the answers, you don't know what the hell to do, and you need to lean on people that do, right? So you hang around 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th one. Yep. You hang around 5 crackheads, you'll be the 6th one, right? So surround yourself around people who know what they're doing, they're smarter than you, they're better than you in something, and they're willing to teach you and give you that kind of valuable insight. The other thing I would
And
also
if you don't
say,
have that, YouTube's a great source.
yes.
Right?
I mean, now I just find it so hard that you can't find it. With all the Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, all these different social media profiles,
Right.
you can find people that are willing to help,
Yes.
willing to talk to you if you just get out there and actually do something about it. And then another thing that was really helpful for me was one of my mentors telling me that you cannot you cannot sell anything thinking about your pockets.
No.
right?
We had that conversation yesterday.
We did have that conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? Because I still fall victim to it sometimes, right? And
And
what
we had a slightly different conversation yesterday.
but it was based on
But,
that same
yeah.
theory, though.
Yes.
The concept is that this is not, even though it's not what I'm going to go do, it could be what that person needs to go do.
Right.
Right? So what I got from it was to get myself out of it. This is not my decision. This is their decision.
Right.
So all I need to do is help them solve a problem. And if I can help you solve a problem, let's talk. If I can't help you solve a problem, I'm going to tell you that and move the hell
Right.
on. Right? So removing yourself from a situation sometimes just needs to happen.
Yeah. Can I tell the story from yesterday?
I don't know which one it is.
We're on that topic.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Brian got a new client yesterday, and we were really trying to diagnose the sales process for this particular client, which I think is important. I think people think that I'm annoying when I think it's important.
Oh, no, it's super I think it is.
I really like to dive into the nitty gritty of those things. I was like, okay, Brian, what happened in that sales process? And he's like, well, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. I'm like, okay, but what did they do? Like, you keep telling me what
Yeah.
you do, and he
You're like,
does.
I know that.
Like, our sales process is fairly documented. We've been nurturing it for a long time, so it's pretty much what Brian does and Tim does in our sales process is generally pretty much the same process, right? You nurture a client, you get them into a meeting, you give them a demo, you do all these things. What I really was trying to figure out is why did she buy?
Right.
And Brian kept telling me the things that he was doing and why they were good. And I'm like,
It took me a second to get there.
what did she do? Who is she? Like, and it really got down to like, what color are her eyes? What color are her hair? Where did she go to school? What did she do when she grew up? Is she a tomboy?
Right.
You know, what does she sell? What products does she sell? Who does she sell her products to? Like all of those things, when you really start diving into who
Yes.
is your customer, and we've got over 1,000 customers, so it's kind of, and they're in,
They're all over
50
the place.
different kinds of products over those 1,000 clients, is hard to do. But when you take just one of them for one of your products, you can really start diving into who that person is and why they made a purchase with you.
Right.
Or with your company, right? So sometimes it's the person, sometimes it's the salesperson, sometimes it's the company, right? If you're AT&T, people don't care who the sales rep is; they just buy AT&T, right?
Yeah.
If you're Google,
You're Google, it doesn't
nobody
matter.
buys personal stuff from Google,
Right.
right? They just buy it from Google because it's a trusted name. So I thought it was important that we went through that. So I think that's great advice of think about your clients' pockets, not
Yeah.
your pockets.
And that question, I did not hear you talking about them. I'm thinking about what did I do differently, right?
Right.
But what you wanted to know was what on her side of the table, what made her says Brian's the guy,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And that's I cannot explain how valuable that is right there. Like what you just shared, I wish I would have told that. That would have been a great success story to share with everybody.
Right. Yeah, and it's just an important piece of the marketing strategy, the sales strategy, the whole process of selling something to somebody. And I think we've got great products. She's obviously going to be successful with them, hopefully.
Yeah.
Our products aren't for everybody, and different products for different stuff. So, I hope it works out for her.
Absolutely.
And I hope she crushes it. But the more important part for this was think about your clients' pockets, not your pockets.
Right.
Yes.
And if you think about other people winning and help them win, you will win.
Yeah. So that's a customer-centric business.
Yep.
And I'm gonna take a left turn if we don't stop. So
Okay, that's our time here today. Thank everyone for listening. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and rate us. If you're looking to get on my text line to ask me questions about some issue you're having or a topic you want us to attack next, I'll make sure Nick gets that. My text line is 314-216-2040.
all right. And my text line is I don't know. Put it up on the screen right here. Sam moved my notes around, so I don't have my stuff in front of me right now.
It's 367 is all I know.
Yeah.
314-367.
We'll have that next week. But we'll throw it up on the screen right now. If you want to join my text community, feel free. If you want to send me an email, it's Ken, K-E-N, @hosterian.com, HOSTIRIAN.com. Get to work.
And make it count, y'all. Fade the black.